So in in 2010 or 11, I met um, Cisco Wheeler, and then I talked to her for, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 hours, um, about everything, you know, and about how my children's mother had been abducted by aliens, even, and various things. Oh, this was during the time that they had kidnapped him and taken him to Texas, uh, you know, and so she had told me at that point and I described the whole, because her mother had told me the whole entire uh, alien abduction situation that had happened to her when I mentioned having been spiritually attacked before. So, and this was in Stella, Washington, just outside of Longview, Washington. So, Cisco Wheeler, who is actually the author of many books about the Illuminati, um, told me that was actually the alien abduction thing, and various was actually a high level witchcraft ritual. And then, also during this time, I had just stopped. We were, in the mountains around there in Stella. We had, I was driving, and there was a couple of friends that were working on an estate sale for Cisco's sister, and I had been driving them back and forth or whatever, but we found this, or I just pulled over because I seen this, like, well, what I thought at the time was like a ley line or whatever, just like this line of rocks like in the forest or whatever. And so I was like, hey, let's go check it out, because I was always like into that type of stuff, and this is before like I met God or whatever personally. And so we pulled over, it was me, a guy, and a girl, and we pulled over, got out, and then we went to explore the area, and um there was shredded clothing all around this field, and under a tree, shredded clothing, shredded suitcases, and like a Bible sitting on top of them, and then I picked up the Bible and I was carrying it around, and then there was like kind of a two, like, kind of tier system in this property, I guess. Oh, when I picked up the Bible, I looked over, and there was like a post sticking up out of the woods, like a metal post, and there was something on top of it, and I was like, is that a camera or what? And I walked up to it and I kicked it, and it was a vent pipe. And then I walked over, like, and this is still on the bottom tier, right? So I haven't got to the top tier yet, but I walked over, and there's just like this whole flat area, and boards that are laying over, like, it was obviously a buried storage container or something like that. And then the ventilation shaft, of course. So I set the Bible down on top of the doors there. And by this time I was freaked out. Like, my buddy and his girlfriend, they were finding things like what they thought, human blonde hair laying around, and there was animal bones just strewn all over the place, and like I had this weird feeling like there was some kind of freaking monster in, just in the woods, like, just out of sight, like some kind of freaking werewolf or whatever, And so, I started singing this song over and over again, like, and then and then I go up to the top tier, and there's this giant rock, and then there's like these beaten trails that go around the base of it, and all over the base of this rock. And it's decent sized rock. It's probably maybe 20 feet wide, right? And then all over the base of it, and it's maybe a story or two tall, with a tree on top of it, and beaten trails that go up to the top of that tree, right? So all around the base of this rock is just like this stained red color, right? And then I walk over around to like sort of where that trail goes up. But then over on the other side, there's like this huge like basically just a huge rock pile, but it's like set up for it so it looks like stadium seats or whatever, right? And then like there was like some human like a little child's like poop on one of the rocks, right? And then there was like a whole bunch of boards and stuff back there. And so I'm still singing this song, and then like I come around to the back, and like right in the center, like behind that giant rock, right in the center, I just seen this just giant, like, looked like an eye, but it was like 3 feet wide. I mean, or at least the size of a dinner plate, but it was like inside of a hole in the mountainside, and it was like behind, and the sunlight didn't hit it, so all I saw was the glint, like, so it looked like a snake eye, right? And I'm just sitting here like, what, suddenly, and it was sunny, suddenly, like, the sun like goes like this and looks like the shadows are disappearing, it's forcing its way into the hole, but it doesn't reach exactly. Then suddenly it starts to hail, and I'm still sitting here singing the song or whatever, and then it starts to rain, and then it starts to snow, and then the sun comes back out, and so by this time my buddy is like back down at the car, and his girlfriend or whatever is up here with me, who knows why, but she's up there with me, like, exploring still, and my buddy's down there honking the horn on the car, and so we go back down. She takes the normal way, and I go down like what I thought was going to be the faster way, but it was like right through all these brambles and all this stuff, right? So like I'm all cut up, just all bloody, and get in the car, and all three of us felt like our feet were being electrocuted, like when we got in the car, or at least I did. But they were weird things were happening to them too, and then my buddy that night at the hotel room, he started hearing voices like talking to him, and then like, it was weird. And then I guess he wound up having that problem forever. But later on that year, I bought a book by John Eckhart called Prayers That Rout Demons and Break Curses, and I said a bunch of them over that place, and I went and visited it in the fall again, and a lightning bolt had struck the tree at the top of that rock, and it was falling down. So that brought me to like 2011, and at that time, like, I was kind of doing I mean, I had completely given up on women. Like, I already got videos on that one, but and so I was just doing my own thing, like staying at home or like hanging out with my friend, one or two friends. Like, I was doing drugs or whatever, but I was like only keeping one dealer and only keeping one person at my house because everybody around me was traitor, and so I was like minimizing every possible way of, and I was just gone into isolation, and just used Facebook as my outlet. Then 2012 came around, and they had all this Nibiru stuff and some of that stuff. So, and by this time, like, I had been approached by people on Facebook, and friended, and then I started to witness the rise of the whole yoga, Illuminati yoga thing, that everybody was doing, and And then I was, oh man, after that it just gets crazy. But you know, I'll have to. That's gonna take some work once that time of year hits.